Hello, this is Lelouch V from Blerd.com, and I'm joined by the infamous Jack Harris,
Hey, what's
creator of
good?
Terminus Veil. How are you
How you
doing
doing?
today, my friend?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. Good day at work. One of the last couple of days before the holiday, so I can work from home the next couple of days. So I'm looking forward to that, and just really just taking in the blessings of the holiday, man. It's been a good time. It's been a crazy time, but it's been a good time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear that. Same here, man. Just chilling with the family. Got to chill with my daughter today, so that was really cool. But yeah, man, just kicking it. Excited for Christmas and all the rest.
Yeah, I'm excited for Christmas, but my checkbook is not.
No, I
That's
hear
the
that.
one downside to the holiday. But that is enough about me. Jack Harris, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started your journey to becoming a comic book creator and getting to Terminus Veil?
Yeah, no. When I was a kid, uh, loved comics. I think like most kids that come out of the '80s love stuff that was on
What was your
TV.
first comic? What was your first one?
First comic, man. I want to say it's Silver Surfer is the first one my dad gave me. He gave me one maybe when I was like 5 or 6. Um, but as I grew up, I started really getting into Image, like all the Image comics. So like I loved Grifter, Wildcats, um, all of those style those Wildstorm books. I was a big fan of. And so I used to just draw myself, like make my own comics as well. Back then, I was maybe about 12, 13. And so, you know, fast forward to today, I'm getting a chance to do it. I went through a totally different path early in my adulthood, just programming computers and uh, creating software was more of how I paid the bills. But I always wanted to get back to comics. It was always something I just loved to do. So it's fun to do it now.
Hmm. So I was actually going to ask you about that specifically. Is there any experiences that you got when you were in the tech field that help with the process of getting the Terminus Veil, or is that just completely separate? Like, tell us a little bit about more of that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the digital marketing standpoint, there's definitely some things that help. Just understanding, social media and how to kind of use automations and stuff like that. Thinking of it kind of as a programmer. Some of that helps, but generally, no. I don't. I won't say that there's a ton I take from it, especially not in the creative process. It's just kind of totally different creating a book, creating a comic book. Thinking of ideas and that creative side of it versus the kind of more logical, rational, mathematical stuff of programming. So, um, yeah,
Yeah. So let's get over towards Terminus Veil. I read that you started the story in 2006. Is that correct? Or
yeah, yeah. 2000, is it 2006, 2007? It might be '06 to '09, somewhere around there is when I first kind of came up with the idea. At that time, I was totally doing something different. I was rapping, and y-
we got to get into
yeah,
that. We'll go
yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
flow. Go for
I
that
already
flow.
know. But yeah, no, I was rapping, and so stuff that I like to rap about. I'm a geek, so I always like rapping about superhero stuff. And I was just while I was doing a song, I was like, man, like it would be cool if I wrote my
Wu
own.
Tang fan at all?
I'm a Wu Tang fan. I like Ghostface. I mess with Ghostface. I'm not a super like I'm not an old school Wu Tang fan. I'm probably more of the Ghostface in the early
Yeah,
2000s, the late
I'm just
1990s.
curious
Yeah.
because that was the first people I heard, use comics and lyrics.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Ghostface stay on the Tony Stark deal. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But no, man. I kind of thought of an idea for one of the characters from Terminus Veil, and from then I just kind of iterated, building the world, thinking about plot points. Just year after year, just adding more. At the time, I was like, I don't know when I'm going to try to do this. I got to work, I got bills to pay, all this type of stuff. And maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I was just like, man, I got this totally big world I've been building for, over a decade. Like, I got to do something with it, and I want to make a switch, kind of in my life. And so, yeah, man, just came out with the book after that.
hey, I mean, I haven't got a chance to get a hold of it yet, but I plan on it. tell us about like your process of like actually building the world though. So like I know so I have a comic book out called Briarlands. We only got our first comic out, and it was an arduous process. So before putting the whole series together, I know
Oh
exactly
yeah.
how exhausting that can be. But yeah, tell us about like a little bit about your process if you don't mind. Like
Yeah.
how do you build the world of Terminus Veil?
Yeah, with me, it starts with kind of what I wanted to see overarching as in the plot, and Terminus Veil is overall kind of a action, mystery, science fiction genre type of deal. I draw a lot from stuff that's in anime, stuff like Ghost in the Shell or Naruto stuff, kind of those. How can I say like big epics? You know what I mean? Something that's very a long story. You kind of see a character or one of the main characters develop through it. So for me, it's always like, all right, let's think of this plot, think of that part, and then start putting characters in place and giving them different dynamics. And the more more I start developing characters, the more it's like, all right, now I can have a fun conversation or dialogue with these two characters or these three characters in this situation. And so then it becomes, now when I write the scripts for, like I'm writing a script for issue 6. When I write the script, it's more like, all right, I know I got this, where I need to be at the end of the book, but how can I have fun with these characters in this particular scene? How do I make some crazy action sequence between that shows off the skills and the prowess of a particular character? And that's kind of where my process is today. Is really just more of the tactical, because the strategical part of it has been, I don't know, it's been thought of almost 10 years ago.
Mhm. No, I feel you there because I mean my process is a little bit the same way. Like me and my partner Stan Thomas, Keith Stanley's his pen name. We worked on our series Briarlands for we think we started in 2015. We weren't able to get the first comic out until last year, 2022. But I
Okay.
mean, it's been a process, and the way I kind of take on my part in making the world is like I think of those characters as like real people, and like when I see them in events, like I was like, oh, what if this character did that, something like that, but maybe adjust it to something that I would have preferred that character to do is like kind of building off of my fantasy of the things that I'm consuming, and put that into action on the page, and it's a fun process.
Yeah, yeah. The creative part is the best part. It's all the other part, the production and
Mhm.
and you know what I mean.
Production,
That's the part.
promotion,
Yeah, the
oh my
promotion.
god.
Yeah, that's the work. The creative part. I could do that all day.
Yeah, I honestly like it's how I burn off steam a lot of times. Like man, like there'd be something that happened in life. It was like what I want to get away from this. Let me get into what Ace is doing, and gonna build a scenario there. It's been therapeutic for me, honestly. Um,
I feel that.
so within your series, do you have a favorite character?
Oh man, I try not to. I'm probably leaning towards a character. I think it's showing the more and more I write the book. I got a character body, and she's really she's had her own cover. She's about to get her own one shot. So I'm probably leaning that way. I try to tell myself I'm not though. You know what I mean? I try to be like, oh no, I don't have a favorite.
Yeah, because
But
it's like it's all your kids. You're not supposed to have a favorite
yeah,
kid, but
uh, yeah. So it's tough, but I mean, there's characters that I relate. Like a lot of the character Dash is somebody I kind of draw from myself when I write his dialogue. I write kind of what he's thinking. So that's always kind of relatable. And then there are a couple people that I just love to have kind of I grew up in the age of Jonin. You know what I mean? And people just roasting all day. And so I got a character, Connor, that I just get to have all that type of fun with, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just making fun of
You
people all
do
the time. So
the Riley Freeman.
yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So it changes pretending on to the same, but no, I try to be even. I try to be.
Yeah, that's fair. And honestly, like you're picking the right road. You shouldn't have a favorite. I just wanted to poke the bear a little bit.
I
But
hear you.
so tell us about like the first initial launch of Terminus Veil. Like how was you feeling going through that process? Like what did you do? How was it?
Yeah, so it was a while. So we released the first issue in 2022. And so it's March 2022. So, we had been in production for issue one for over a year. Just I was just learning the ropes of timing and working with different artists and all that. And so,
Just stop you real quick. I'm sorry, do not mean to cut you off. So
no,
I know you said that you draw earlier. So are you doing like the concept art and then handing it off to another artist? Like to what's that process like?
no, no, no. I wish I could draw good. I used to draw for fun, but I don't think I've ever got to
Mm,
the point of getting good. I'm actually trying to draw a little more now, but no, I usually work with concept artists, and so I had a few concept artists I reached out to early, maybe in 2020, and kind of got some concepts for the like four or five of the major characters. Um, Went through that process with them as far as just handing them a bio. I kind of had a full bio, kind of what I thought they should look like, description as far as their face and stuff like that. And then you know, post that, I got my script ready for issue one, and I picked out an art. I found an artist just kind of scrubbing through ArtStation. And so Jordan Gunnarsson was the artist we went with on issue one. Really great guy, really experienced. And so yeah, we went through the whole process of you know page by page turn ins, getting the sequentials in. Um, Post that, we had a colorist, kind of that colorist didn't work out. Found another colorist, that one didn't work out. Found another colorist, finally got it good, and so that's kind of why production was so long. Was really me not understanding the business of working with artists and the expectations of timetables and how all that plays out because it's
man.
different than what you expect and artists, they are the they're the blood of this industry, right?
Mhm.
And so you have to respect what they do, you got to love it, but they know they're the blood of the industry as well. Like they know you have to come through them, and so
Yeah.
it's a dance, it's a dance. But I kind of started to get better at it. And like I said, we got issue one out in 2022, and then it was like, all right, now it's promotion. And so my full plan always was I was going to do issue one, two, three, and four, and then make a big volume. Um, and so I kind of soft launched issue one. I really didn't do a ton of just
Art
promotion. I just
promotion.
kind of Yeah, I just kind of started going to local events. There'd be like art events, and I just get a table there, set up, try to sell a few. Started going to cons, and that's kind of how I played it for issue one and two and three. And then once, last year around May, I was like, all right, now we're ready to do a Kickstarter for the volume one for the bigger book because we had so much of the material ready. And that went really well. That was one of the toughest projects as far as the amount of work they have to do in promoting. Being on social media, working with press releases, and just that whole deal of it all. But it worked out really well, and we ended up raising about 15K. Um, and
Wow.
so yeah, yeah. Now the book is in print. Actually, I just got the production samples yesterday. So I should be getting the a bunch of trades in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it went, it's been pretty good. Now it's just how do I keep it going? How do you make it better the next round? So
Hmm. No, man, I understand that process completely because I mean, again, I was on pretty much the same timeline releasing, not in May, March, but in May of 2022. And
mm,
around that same time, I was also, transitioning into becoming part of Blerd because I was, my own entity, taking on, all of that and trying to still make sure the comic was made, put out, and distributed. I
Mhm.
can only imagine what the process were you going through if you were doing it solo. Luckily for me, I had my partner and my editor to really do help a lot with a lot of the work. I can only imagine the amount of time and effort that you had to put in, like trying to meticulously put all the promo materials together. I'm sure you probably had to get some graphic design stuff for that, some video editing potentially. Like, I mean, people
Yeah,
don't really think about all the time that goes into like the actual promotion side of this business, but
yeah.
it's extensive, man. It's there.
It's
Um,
so much. It's so much. Yeah, man. I had to. I think the biggest thing that I came out with was one writing emails. I don't consider myself a super social person.
hmm,
But but writing emails is maybe the core of all business in the digital world. So,
emails and
um,
newsletters.
email, yeah. So got comfortable with that. I'm very comfortable in Canva now. I use that probably once a week. For creating different kind of flyers when you have maybe I got an event at a comic book store or I'm going to be up at a con. It's like, hey, you got to let people know and all that. So no, it's definitely a process, especially if you want to handle the business side of it. I think I've always looked at it, because I used to rap. I've always looked at it like, um, kind of how the indie rappers, the people selling out their trunk, looked at it. You know what I mean? Which is like, hey, like if I can't build an audience on my own, and people really mess with the book and really say really like it, then I don't know if I just want to go straight to a publisher and you know try to work it that way, because I don't know if I'd feel if that'd be the right suit, the right place for me. So
It will feel semi soulless to it. No, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that
yeah,
far. You could, like, when doing that, you just potentially have to give up so much control over your product. It's no telling what is going to be the end result that comes out. So it's really a scary dance trying to do that. So I get you completely.
yeah, yeah, no. So that's been my mind state is, like, hey, I'm gonna learn everything about the publishing business. Like I love one day to take a bunch of this off my plate,
Hmm.
but like I know it's a road, so I'm gonna just ride it for a while.
No, I feel you there 1000%. Like in dealing, having to deal with the business side, it just is like, you know what? I want to get to a point where I can just put that and I just say, hey, I have to get this next story up. I want to get this next. I can storyboard. I can build a timeline, a character arc. I can do that all day, but the back end is. I mean, it's hyper important. It's possibly more important because I mean, you can have the
Yeah,
best comic in the world, but if you don't market it at all, no one's going to see it. You know,
yep, yeah. No, I feel the same way. I think it is more important. I don't like to ever, knock the creative process, because it's it's
it's
it's it's
great.
important as well. But like you said, if the business isn't there, you just have a book, right? And if only 10 people.
You still there, Jack?
Yep. Am I back? Can you
Yep,
see me
yep.
now?
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
sorry. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened. I think the internet, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, no, you're right. If only 10 people see it, then what can you do with it? Uh oh.
Oh,
If you can, Jack, I'm glad we're doing this pre-recorded too. Just, if you want to refresh your page, see if it comes back smoother. We
that's
can
what I'm
just
gonna
edit
try.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a minute. Hold on.
Sure, take your time. And all right, yeah, like you were saying, like yeah, if only 10 people see your comic, I mean, there's only so much you can actually do with that, you know. So, how many different skills did you have to really pick up during that process? Because I know I had to pick up, you know, it came to my graphic design skills. I had to, you know, of course, brush up on digital marketing stuff and how to approach social media. Like it was so many different things I had to just consume and learn and become efficient at. Yeah, tell us about your process through that. Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I took a right before in 2020, I took a course on digital marketing on you not Udemy, but one of those online courses. And learned all about kind of
Udemy?
the huh?
Is
Say
it
it again?
Udemy?
It's not Udemy. That's not the
No.
one. It's another one. Udacity.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Heard.
yeah, yeah. I believe that's their name. And yeah, I went and did theirs, and it was a good process. And so it kind of taught me all about the idea of like the customer journey and you know what you're doing, trying to do as far as with email lists and how you're trying to use social media and all that to kind of get people familiar with you and trust
Mhm.
you and all that. And so that was a huge learn. That part of it. Like I'm such a doer and not like a communicator, and so that was just a whole learning. But that part, video was a big deal. Video editing, because so much of reels and stuff like that is like, hey, like you got to know how to edit. You got to be able to put some base stuff together. You don't have to be great, but you got to be able to do something, right? So that was a lot to learn. The graphic design, I actually was okay at. I had done a lot of it when I was kind of in college, so I was kind of didn't feel as much of a gap. But it definitely was. I was definitely rusty when I started back. So that part. What else? Trying to think if there's something else that really I had to. I think it was just the introduction. The getting used to introducing yourself to people, right? Going to
Over
cons,
and
and I
over and
think
over again.
there's some part that you see sometimes. I don't want to point anything out or make somebody feel bad or whatever, but sometimes I see people at cons and they sit at their table the whole time. And sure, you definitely want to try to be at your table and make some sales, but I think there's a part of this game that is, hey, go meet some of the other artists there. Go,
Bring the people to
you
you.
know what I mean? Yeah, go, because you never know who you may be working with in the future. You don't know what opportunities you can get. It's just so it's stuff like that that I think I had to really get myself in the mind state for and practice. Like, hey, what's your spiel? You know what I mean? And all of that. And so I would say that's you know,
Hmm.
probably it. There's lot of stuff, a lot on the communication side.
The comms and networking. That is, it's a. I think it's a Jay Z bar. Your network determines your net worth.
Mm,
I mean, it is what it is. Well, being at these cons, you have to create relationships and build opportunities for yourself because I mean, everyone's out there, everyone's willing to work, but it's who's going to go meet those and make those connections and follow through with it.
mm.
That's the biggest thing about what it is, man. And speaking of that, I mean, that I got to actually meet you in person when we were down at DreamCon.
Yeah, man, that
What
was a
was
blast.
your experience at the 2023 DreamCon? Because I mean, we had a ball out there. We had a ball.
It's the first time at the con itself, the first time we've ever sold out of a book. We sold out of issue one there, which was awesome. You know what I mean? It was just a great feeling. But I just love the vibe of DreamCon in general. It's just so interesting seeing so many different black creators out there. Um, it's fun connecting. Obviously, the after party stuff is fun too.
The mixer,
And so
that
yeah,
mixer
the
was
mixer was awesome. So it's like I thought it was maybe it was definitely our favorite con. Austin was cool too. I haven't seen a place with so many food trucks out in the middle of the night.
fun. Like the whole Sixth Street bars are
Yeah,
filled with food trucks and food stands. It was like, is this a carnival? Mm,
right. Yeah, so I loved it. It was one of the best experiences we had this year as far as at a con. I thought maybe only only maybe MomoCon was as good for us. So
Hmm. So I mean, I've been con surfing consistently since probably like 2017. No, it was 2018 is when I first went to BlerdCon. Before
okay,
that, I'm from Chicago. I went to like C2E2 pretty often because I mean it's there. Same with anime with Midwest and a few smaller ones, but I never like actually tried to do like a panel or a booth or anything like that. 2018 BlerdCon was my first time being there and kind of just taking in like all the opportunities that would just arise organically through talking to people. So man, these cons are a powerful tool, man. For both having a good experience and also if you have a business in the space of blurredom or of nerddom in these con spaces, you can actually go out and meet some really cool people.
yeah, man.
But can you tell us about it, like future plans that you got for Terminus Veil?
Yeah, so Terminus Veil this year we got issue 5. It's in production right now. Obviously we'll put our volume 1 once it gets in, it'll be for sale, and we'll have a big kind of promotion about it in the months of February and March, April. And then we're gonna also work on another, like I said, a one shot for the character Badia that kind of goes into a little bit of her backstory. Gives kind of a really really good one cohesive book that tells a really good story about her. It'll be about 45 pages, 45 to 50 pages.
Yeah,
And
hardcover.
no, I don't think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna go floppy. I think I'm gonna go. I might even go oversized floppy, which I'm still making those last type of decisions. But kind of got the overarching plot for it. Know I'm about to start the script very very soon. Um, so that's what we got. That's what we got on deck for Terminus Veil. And we expect to have kind of a Kickstarter around the summer, maybe early fall, for issue 5 and the one shot all together.
Hmm.
And so that'll be kind of our big event for the year. Um, and just in general, we got 2 other books that are not Terminus Veil at all that we're starting to be in pre-production for. We're going to try to hopefully launch one of those books by the end of the year. So
So if someone was to start seeking collaboration with you to try to do it on a book, is that a thing that is available? Like, and how would they do that if it was available?
yeah, I mean, reach out to me, and I would say I'm open to a good pitch. Obviously, I'm a writer. So anything that somebody's saying, hey, I'm an artist, I want to work, and see if we can come up and do a whole project together. That'd be awesome. And I think I'm pretty flexible. I'm not above the idea of kind of pitching to a bigger publisher if that's what somebody is open to, or if they were just like, hey, let's just do this from the ground up, and build it up. I'd be open to that too. So now this is definitely, I would say, the year for it, because I think we know the speed we want to be at in Terminus Veil. And like maybe issue 6 will be out by the end of this year. That's what we're trying to. So we'll probably do about 2 issues this year for it. But I think this year will be more of kind of expanding out, doing some different stories. So yeah, I'm totally open. Hit me up on Instagram, DM me. I always check my DMs. Um, Very available via email and any other way. I'm pretty. I try to stay on it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. So the audience hears you. Hit them up, email, let
Yeah.
them know. You'll probably be hearing from me soon too. I got a couple projects
All
that
right.
I've been
That's
trying
what's up. Yeah.
to collab with multiple artists on. So we'll talk. We'll talk.
That's what's up.
But
Man.
what about any cons that you're planning to hit? Like I know you enjoy DreamCon. I'm guessing you're trying to go there again for next year.
Trying
What
to go
cons do you
again.
think about hitting next year?
So we know we've already locked in ATL Con, which is in Atlanta, and that's in February. We've got a con in Macon, Georgia, called Middle Georgia Con, and that's in January. And then we have Con Nuga, which is in Tennessee, in Chattanooga, and that's in late February. So we know those are locked in. We've applied for DreamCon, so hopefully we get in there again. We'll apply for MomoCon, which is kind of in Atlanta in May. It's like a comic and game con. Um, short of that, it'll really be just me seeing something that I think, we're trying to be in the southeast a good bit this year and just really, really
Mhm.
set
There's
our,
a
you
lot
know,
of the
yeah,
activity
yeah,
out there to be in. So hey, you save on
yeah,
travel expenses. That's also really expensive, right? But
yeah, man, it's a deal. It's a deal to fly and then, our drive. I know some people that drove to DreamCon from, the East Coast, which is a whole deal, right? And then you talk about,
Terrell and Javon from Blerd, like they
yeah,
drove from North Carolina to
yeah,
Austin, Texas,
woo,
straight.
yeah,
It's like, how did you do this? I
yeah,
mean, I'm in Buffalo, New York. There is no. It would have been a 28-hour drive. I think it was. I wasn't gonna do that. That just wasn't feasible.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah, kudos to the people that drove.
Yeah, yeah. It's a battle for me because it's like I have to take a PTO day if I drive, and then I'm like, well, is that PTO day almost half of the plane ticket or something like that? Like, could I have just start doing that math? And I was like, all right, I'll just take a plane. But
Like, just ship my merch out there, ship it to
yeah,
my own hotel, and pick it up when I get there. Yep.
yeah. But no, it's a whole deal. So I want to do a few more. I know we're gonna try to do a lot of in stores and different comic book companies and the comic book stores, I should say, in the southeast. That's really what we'll be trying to really focus in on. Probably in the back half of the year. But no, if there's a con that I feel like is a good and we can get in it, and everything works out, man, we're open. So
Well, I mean, it's slightly further north, but what about BlerdCon?
I definitely, I definitely would do BlurCon. I think the biggest deal with BlurCon, I think, is that it it's right on. I want to say is it not in June or July
It's
itself?
July 12th to 14th.
Yeah, it's just so
The
close
same
to.
as something else. It might be
Yeah.
MomoCon.
No, MomoCon's in late May, so it's not that one. There's something else that I was looking at when I was thinking about BlurCon. Well, one, it's really close to DreamCon. It's, back basically you
Yeah,
come home from BlurCon,
yeah.
sleep a little bit.
DreamCon the same day as San Diego Comic Con this year, which is also
Is
crazy.
it? Oh, that is crazy. But no, I'm definitely open to BlurCon. I definitely wanted to go. I wanted to go a year back, and I ended up going to AwesomeCon, and it was like, man, after I went to AwesomeCon, I was like, I didn't have the gusto. But no, I definitely, I might just put an application in tonight. In all honesty.
Mm, mm. But I'm not gonna hold you too long. Thank you again for giving us all this. Are there any messages that you want to leave the audience with before we get out of here?
Yeah, just check us out at terminusveil.com/free. Anybody can get the first issue of Terminus Veil for free, a digital copy of it. Once you sign up for our email list, you'll basically get the first issue sent to you in the mail, in email. You can check it out and get a good feel for it. And if you like it, subscribe and kind of keep up with us. So that's really all I got. Like we've got tons of books coming this year. Like I said, issue 5, hopefully issue 6, the body of one shot. Another just totally different kind of fantasy based book that we're doing. So just keep up with us, watch us.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely looking forward to diving into it myself. We'll have to do a comic swap. I'll send you some of
Oh
ours
yeah,
too.
yeah, definitely.
And again, thank you, Jack, so much for this, especially being accommodating to my crazy schedule.
No,
And
thank you. Appreciate me having me on, and being there. Anytime I get to talk to people and they get a chance to learn about it, I know it's such an opportunity. So I appreciate it a lot.
thank you very much. And we're gonna sign off here and just letting people know, like, understand. Even if you are creative and you're trying to get into the process of making a comic, you got to learn the business side of it because it's important.